Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person to Secret Base in Hong Kong and snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. If you are looking to pre-order your very own young Barry Allen, he is available from Pop Collectibles, and I have popped the link to their site in the description below. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I've also included the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new figure preview video goes live on the channel. Now, we did an advanced figure preview video for this very release, but they've changed a lot since then. They've added accessories and they've tweaked a couple of things on the outfit and with the display base. This guy looks ace. Say what you will about the Flash movie. I don't support Ezra and any of their nonsense, but I did enjoy the film and I enjoyed Ezra's performance as both versions of Barry. This version in particular, though, coming from the Tim Burton verse, technically, and taking the Batman Returns suit and bastardizing it into this Flash costume, I liked all of that, and I was hoping that they'd announce this figure for pre-order. Luckily, they did. Now, unfortunately, everything that comes with this guy wasn't on display. They only showcased 2 of the different faceplates, and one of the cowls without the broken neck was not on display. This is my favorite though. It's got this almost Elvis-like smirk with one side of the mouth slightly higher up than the other. The teeth are painted beautifully, their skin texture and details, such as the wrinkling on the chin. It's the little details like that and the expressive face plates like this that I reckon make a figure. So much personality in that faceplate alone. This head sculpt though is glorious. This is Barry Allen. The likeness is there. You've got the moving eyes, you've got the swap out skin tone neck, and you've got the individual little strands of hair coming off the main bulk of the sculpt for the fringe. All of that stuff, it works so well. This might just be one of their best head sculpts in a while. The likeness is undeniable, at least in my opinion. Maybe you won't like the head sculpt, and that's fine because you don't have to get it. If you just get the standard version of Flash/young Barry Allen, then you're not going to be getting the unmasked head sculpt. This is exclusive to the deluxe version. That's quite interesting, actually. I don't remember a time when they've done that previously. Usually it's an additional accessory or a swap out part of the outfit, but an entire head sculpt? Maybe they read the room and they knew that Ezra Miller is controversial because of all of their antics. They decided, well, chances are people might not pick up this figure if we include an Ezra Miller head sculpt, so let's just include that as the deluxe bonus. So if you want it, it's there. But if you don't, then you don't have to get it. I will be getting it because I liked Ezra's performance, as I said, and the eyes, having them just off to the side ever so slightly, you completely alter the expression. It looks like 2 different head sculpts, but it's not, it's just angles and the position of the eyes. Now you can see exactly what comes with the deluxe version and everything that comes with the standard version. If you get the deluxe one, you also get the battle damage pieces of armor, which we'll discuss when we get to them in just a second. They have added a little bit more color to the Flash and Batman symbols on top of the display base, and they've still retained the USB-C powered light up, so that's the very small change that they made to the display base itself. Now the boots do look like they have a decent amount of flexibility to them, but they do not look like split-cut boot designs, unfortunately. I was hoping to see that for The Flash, a character that's literally meant to be in running poses. They decided that it's not really worth the effort. I think it is worth the effort, even if you wanted to include 2 different versions of the boots, one with the split cut and one without, just like 3-0 are doing for their Masked Rider. Do have a Batman symbol around the front of the boots, and you see all of those overlapping panels? That would have been the perfect place to hide the split cut boots. It would have been almost invisible, but perfect when it comes to posing. I'm just hoping they are soft enough that it's a non-issue. We will have to wait and see when this guy eventually releases. He does have some knee pads on, and you can see the Velcro strapping around the back, so they will be adjustable up and down. And I particularly like the just regular stretchy spandex underneath the suit. If you remember in the film, young Barry cuts up this suit to get more range of motion and flexibility so that the Flash can actually run, because that's what the Flash does. And then the young Barry shows the older Barry by putting their leg up on the bench and saying, hey, look, way more flexibility. So having certain sections of the armor be cut away, exposing that just normal screen printed stretchy fabric underneath, perfect for this design of the, do I call it the bat suit or do I call it the Flash suit? I'm still not entirely sure on that. The lightning effect pieces are a nice touch. I do think they ever so slightly cheapen the vibe, especially when you have head sculpts as realistic as these ones are. It can be a little bit hit and miss with effect pieces. Sometimes they work when they have the lightning strands really, really thin, when they make them as chonky as they do, which I know they do for durability, sometimes comes across a little bit too toy-like, and I get the irony there because this is a Hot Toys figure. It's still a toy at the end of the day. The outfit does not look like rubber, just like how they made changes to the modern version of Keaton's suit. They've used the same material here for this Batman Returns redo. I would love to see an actual Batman Returns figure using this style of material. It still has that sheen on the surface so it comes across rubbery, but not as restrictive as that original suit was. That thick rubber was a nightmare when it comes to posing. This still bunches and wrinkles, it just moves a touch more freely. The red looks like it's been haphazardly painted on the surface by a young Barry, which is what I was hoping for. And the caution tape for the belt, it's kind of crazy looking, and it sticks out quite far from the sculpt. If this was tape, it wouldn't do that. I'm not going to complain about that particular detail. I'm not super mad about how the belt looks, if you even want to call this a belt. There is this very interesting, super fine texture on the surface that under closer inspection maybe doesn't read as much as rubbery as it does grainy. Maybe that's just to do with the style of material they're using, or maybe that's just the look they were going for, who knows. You can see the ab armor that is part of the Batman Returns suit, and I am curious to see how this suit actually went on the body, because with the Batman Returns figure, the cut was hidden under the belt, whereas with this guy, there is no belt buckle. So you can't really do that. He does have these scratches that young Barry put into the front, the breastplate of the suit, with a box cutter, if I recall correctly, just to give it more flair. There's even a section on the left side of the pec where it looks like he slipped with the knife. That makes it even more believable. Then over the front of the bat symbol, a very bright yellow flash symbol just spray painted on the surface. Now this neck piece that's mesh is removable when you pop the skin tone neck on, so you don't have to worry about it not blending properly. This shoulder pad is one of the battle damage pieces, so if you don't get the deluxe version, you won't be getting this particular piece of armor, along with the other shoulder pad on the other side, and the gauntlet, and the hand, with the battle damaged Kryptonian shard sticking out of it. It looks like crumpled metal, and it does convincingly look like there is a piece of metal going straight through the forearm. You can see the entry and the exit wound, where it's sticking out on both sides. The shoulder pad is attached with Velcro, I would think. That's how Hot Toys usually do it. Whereas the gauntlet will just slide off. Don't be fooled by how realistic this looks. That piece is not actually going through his arm. It's just an effect. Speaking of effects, you do have some more of that lightning stuff on that gauntlet, which is totally optional. And another piece of Kryptonian metal going straight through his hand. I'm not sure yet whether or not I'm going to go battle damaged on his way to Dark Flash with these various bits and pieces sticking out of him. It's a neat look. However, I think I prefer the clean look for this particular version of Barry. And that includes the cowl. Having the neck be separate does afford more range of motion, undeniably. Of course it will, because you can move his head independently, kind of like the Dark Knight suit versus the Batman Begins suit. Still, It takes away from that Batman Returns suit aesthetic. I want him to have that cowl fixed down on the surface. Once again, that particular cowl is not on display at Secret Base currently. If they do put it up on display, then Ryan will head back there, snap a few pics, and will pop them up on Instagram. At the time of filming this video, that hasn't happened yet. Now, this head sculpt, the one with the torn neck area, it looks awesome. There's an intensity to the expression, and with this mouth plate, yes, it can look goofy depending on the eye position. I just think it looks fierce. It looks like he's mid-run, he's about to kick someone's ass. And the battle damage helps sell that, having it look as wet and glossy as it does. A very nice effect. It looks very, very realistic. And the sculpt of the scratch is nice and deep. It's actually indented into the surface. It's not like they just sculpted this mouth plate then popped some red blood over the top. No, they actually sculpted that wound into it. I am very interested to find out what this cowl looks like with the regular mouth plate on, because there is that big scratch on the cowl itself leading down to this battle damage mouth plate. Will it look out of place without the battle damage there? I'm not sure. They've gone really in depth with the details here, even the smallest tiny little thing like the holes in the tops of the ears where Barry cuts them off with the box cutter. Because this cowl was slush cast out of foam latex or urethane or something, you can see that the ears are hollow in the movie, and they've captured that in 6 scale. It's a really small little detail that's in a blink and you miss it moment in a scene where you're probably focusing on something else anyway. But that's why we collect Hot Toys, because we do want all of those little details represented, and I'm glad they did that for this particular cowl. The posability looks solid, the suit looks flexible enough to pull off those poses, except for the split cut boots. Do let me know if you would display this guy battle damaged or not. I'm personally leaning towards not, with the unbattle damaged cowl as well. There are multiple different mouth plates, you've got moving eyes on 2 sculpts, interchangeable outfit pieces, lightning effects, USB-C powered light up display base. So what I'm trying to say is I am going to call this thing what it is, what Hot Toys won't. This is essentially a DX release. You get so much stuff, and all of it is solid too. I can see myself using any of this stuff in my personal collection. At the end of this, I'm just happy they decided to make this version of Young Barry. The film did okay, critically speaking and audience score-wise. Financially, it was a bit of a disaster. It didn't make a ton of money, and usually when it comes to DC films, Hot Toys will cut and run if that's going to happen. If they can see that their figures aren't going to sell, they're going to sit around on discount forever, they'd rather just not make them. And I can understand that point of view. Whereas, as collectors, sometimes figures are greater than the movies that they're from, especially when it was a decent movie, just not financially speaking. So yes, I am going to be picking this figure up, and I cannot wait to get it in hand. If you want to grab one too, I have popped the link to Pop Collectibles in the description below. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. I've also included the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.